Hey friends, welcome. Welcome to the heyBrownBerry podcast. This is Mars. I'm really happy you stopped by again, or for the first time. I'm sitting outside, which is turning out to be one of my absolute favorite places to be in the last several weeks. I live in South Florida, and when the temperatures drop below 80 degrees Fahrenheit, it's almost like my duty to be outside and appreciate it. So that's where you find me sitting. I actually have a fire going, and you'll see more about that in this episode. I'm actually just enjoying some quiet time this morning. Just have a couple of things on my list to take care of today. But for the most part, I am sticking to my plan for December, which is to do at least a little bit of making each day, and also to just generally take things a bit easier. I'm intentionally, this month in particular, not making too many plans. A friend once said to me that she is working on her intuition practice, and she was very specific about that wording. And she explained that that was a way for her to develop her intuition like a muscle. And in order to do that, it meant that she would practice just listening to her gut feeling on any topic. We were specifically talking about her decision to do something at that point. And so that struck me. Sometimes when someone says something to you, you don't realize immediately the message that's in it for you, and then it may come back to you later. So this month I'm embracing an intuition practice when it comes to how I spend my day. I'm extremely privileged that I work from home now, and most of my activity is self-driven. So I make my to-do list and then work on it. But that also means that I can plan downtime into my days and my weeks. And I'm trying really hard to follow my gut when it comes to that. I don't naturally slow down, and I actually am learning more and more about myself that I don't necessarily need to be slow and still all the time. But my intuition for this month says, move a little more slowly and take a bit more time and plan a little bit less. So I'm trying to do that. Are you having any changes towards the end of this 2019 year that feel positive for you or feel healthful? I'd like to hear about it. And if not, if you're caught up in a lot of year-end stress right now, I'm sending you a big hug. I'm not a person to try to prescribe what's best for others. I will give advice when asked, but I'm resisting the urge to tell you to do one thing or another. I will encourage you to find some rest. I will encourage you to make the most of even small moments if you are in a very highly active stage right now. And that's because I want you to have that. We don't always have it, and it makes a good balance to all the activity. So I'll show you a bit of my view and what's allowing me to slow down for the next 30 to 45 minutes before I do the next thing in my day. In the mornings when I come out to sit by the fire, that's it there. It's kind of burning down pretty low right now. It's been going for a couple of hours. I bring with me this eco-printed cotton napkin that I made at a local cloth workshop event that was taught by my Maria. Maria is my closest friend. She is Ninja Chickens online, and she taught an eco-printing workshop a couple of months ago, and I was so fortunate to be able to attend. This napkin was printed with different leaves and plants and a bit of dye extract, and I just really enjoyed it. There's some onion skin in there and some eucalyptus branches. I can't remember exactly what this one is. It could be Vitex, a plant called Vitex, but I'm not sure. If I figure it out by the time I'm doing my editing, I'll put what this plant is on there. But I was pretty keen on having a big print on my napkin, so I'm really happy with how that came out. And I'm so grateful to have taken the class with someone who knows this art form so well and helps us apply it to things that are useful. I have it like a lap cloth, and I'm creating a ritual of having it with me every morning and every evening, and I bundle up things into it and carry them around to different places, either in the house or outside. So what I've got bundled here is a current work in progress, a pair of socks that I'm knitting, and at some point I may insert a picture of them kind of separated out. But they're just some Scrappy socks that I'm knitting with minis that I receive from folks in the Luli podcast group. Members of the Luli Advent mini swap sent each other minis throughout the year, and I talked about this amazing swap and make along. I really am just so enamored with it. I know it's not a new concept, but I really love the way that Luli has run this one. So members of that mini swap sent each other mini skeins throughout the year, and I saved mine up to make these socks. More than likely, I will be giving these away to charity or as a gift. That is the promise I made to myself, although there's a strong chance I will want to make some for myself. So here's my progress. I've made it past the heel. I've knit these top down, and I've made it past the heel. I'm using a heel flap and gusset construction, and I'm knitting on double pointed needles. These are 2.25 millimeter needles. I actually got these Knit Pro Zings from Lee. She has an Etsy shop at Shop Luli where she's got great knitting, well, actually just great making accessories. And these are also Knit Pro. I think they're Knit Pro. Anyway, these are also 2.25 millimeter needles, but they're wood. And I'm really enjoying working on double points for these socks. Here is the mini that is going in right now. And this is a Woolen Homestead yarn. It's the most recent. I will try to remember to link my Ravelry project page for these socks in the description box. I am actually taking pictures of each of the minis that are going into the socks, and I know that I won't be putting 24 colors into this pair. I'm actually going to stop when these are about probably like an average women's size, and then start another project with the other minis and the remainder of this month. I'm really enjoying that. And then here's today's. And I'm pretty sure this is from Helen, who is Hecky Thump 1 online. And Helen is a friend of mine who I hope to see again someday very soon. I'm going to open that one up. Advent calendars. These are not numbered. I actually just open them one at a time as I feel to. And this is today's. But what I find such a treat is that although my minis came from 4 different people in this swap, there are just little bits of each one that pick up on another. Thank you, Helen. This is really pretty. It's so bright. I like that. It's going to stand out really well in the foot part of this sock. I like that a lot. So I'm going to keep going on these because I really am enjoying working on them. I wasn't pressuring myself to finish anything, but now that I'm getting close to the now that I'm in the home stretch for these, I'm getting really excited to finish them and see what they look like completed. Helen, if you're watching, I love swapping with you. Thank you so much. Also, in my lap cloth of plenty, I have 1/2 of my Advent swap package that is a combination of yarns from both Maria and my friend Natalie. Natalie is Remembrances Pottery on Instagram and on Shopify. She and I started a friends vent or a friend swap for the Advent season about 3 years ago. And we included Maria last year and again this year, and it's been amazing. Each of us sent the other two 12 mini skeins, and we decided early in the year what weight of yarn we wanted. I asked for DK or worsted weight yarn to work on a crochet project. I'll insert a picture of the start of my crochet project here, and if you want some more information about it, it's a poncho, just go back to my last episode and I talk about it there. So let's see, this one is from Natalie. Each day I open one from Natalie, and then the following day I open one from Maria, and I keep alternating. Let's see what Natalie's put in this one. Here it comes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so one of the beautiful things about this swap is that each of them has been so caring in the type of yarn they include. I am going to guess that this is Natalie's hand spun. I'll look inside to see if I'm right. But she has provided me some gorgeous hand spun minis. And to me, that represents so much time and thought and caring to know that she spun these. It makes me that much more excited to work with it. And both she and Maria packaged these minis up so beautifully. They're both really good at reusable handmade packaging. That feels like things I can keep as almost like a bonus gift to the mini. So here we go. Purple hand spun and unknown fiber content at 21 grams DK. And of course, it's perfect for my project. And I love that this, comes from her hands to mine. In Maria's packages, she's included yarns that she used in her own projects. Another thing I love. Had to pop back in to talk about one more element of my daily swap package opening. Maria also organized an Advent tea and herb swap, so I had 5 other partners around the US and I exchanged teas with them. This is today's tea. I mean, need I say more? Chocolate macaron. Pretty excited about that. And my coffee cup from Jess is empty. We're gonna need to take care of that ASAP. It's such a beautiful way to have pieces of my friends with me. So that's a bit about the things I enjoy each morning sitting out by the fire. Speaking of the fire, I have quite a bit of footage of myself prepping wood for the fire, and also stripping some bark off of some fallen pine trees on our lot that I'm going to use for dyeing. And I think what I'll do now is I'll insert some of that footage and maybe do a bit of voiceover to talk about what I'm doing. So I hope you enjoy that, and I hope it gives you cozy feelings. I was thinking, what sentiment do I want to leave with you? I just hope it makes you feel cozy. And tell me a little bit about what you're doing this month and how your intuition practice is leading you. I'll see you on the other side. I'm rocking the safety goggles look today, friends. It's time to chop some wood. I showed you the fire pit where I like to hang out, and we have some trees with branches and limbs that need to come down, and we have a big log that needs to be cut up, and I thought this is a great way to work out a little bit and get some wood for our next fire. A couple of my tools is this long-handled axe, and this is a pruner. Gives me a lot of height, so I can either use the sawing action or this pruning blade to get to some branches that are high up. It's actually sitting beneath the tree where I'm going to cut some of the branches. This is our avocado tree. It's a Florida green avocado tree. And unfortunately, it was subject to a pretty severe beetle infestation that's kind of sweeping across our state. It primarily is mold transmitted by this beetle that kills avocado and red bay trees. And we have both in our yard, and we've lost all of them. This one has some green foliage coming back, but you can see pretty much all those are dead branches. The ones that are closest to the ground that I can reach with a ladder and the pruner is what I'm going to cut down and then burn in the fire pit. Then this log, I believe this one is from one of the red bay trees, and it needs to be cut up so that I can easily use pieces of it in the fire. It's got a good amount of moss and lichen still on it, but I'm just gonna let that be. As I've been spending more time outdoors, and especially by the fire, I'm really getting to know more about the trees and plant life on our land. Here in South Florida, we have a lot of pine trees. They're one of the most prevalent plants in this area. I'm interested to see if I can use pine bark as dye material. Many different species of trees have bark that can be used to create colorful dye that I can then use on my yarn or some fabric. So while I'm using the wood from these fallen pines to make warm fires in the morning, I'm also collecting the bark off of these trees that have been sitting in the backyard for quite a while. I'm going to soak the bark for several weeks to see if I can extract some color. Well, I'm back inside the house now, friends, going to continue with my day, and I'm hoping that yours is excellent. Thanks for spending a little time with me. I will see you here again very soon. Bye. Mwah.